The ref and he looks at me and he goes, out. And I just go, sir! Like, I freak out. I throw my hat, I spit on the ground.
You spit on the ground. Did you kick dirt on him?
I was livid, dude. And I was just like, she was fucking blocking the base and I was safe. I know I was safe. I felt it. And everyone, my team gets riled up, dude. Like, I'm a manager and they're like, he was safe.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the 505 podcast.
Come on, we are back.
God, season 2 feels good. It feels right. And you know what even feels better? Starting it off on the right foot.
Oh.
That's
pretty good.
That is light work, and that's no doubt.
Couldn't hit a hit in his couldn't hit a homer in his softball in the game, but
I can sure open a can, baby.
Wow, very impressive. Very impressive.
Season 2 feels a little warmer.
Yeah, it's feeling
My
pretty.
neck feels warm.
Yeah.
So, for those of you that don't know, sketch hours sound between the times of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. and onward. So, if you get really sketch,
right.
4 a.m., you know?
Right. If you're sketching for between 2 and 4, you probably need the hat as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You're going to need both to
Yeah.
get you through that extra little leg.
Or we just won't feed Keon. You guys pick. So,
Right.
whatever you decide, whatever you decide to go with.
I'm going to try a one-handed crack, and I'm not really comfortable.
Just put in the reps, you know?
Dude, I can't get it.
It's okay.
Just
table it. Yeah, that's fine.
I can't get under.
It's okay.
That was a good pun of table it. That was funny. I like that. Yeah.
Brand's like, I didn't even realize I did that.
Yeah, that was smooth, baby.
Today, guys, we got a lot to cover because we're all back finally. This is a rock talk. This is the first rock talk of season 2.
Yes.
And
It's not actually a rock talk because rock talks were just bullshit. We have some value to provide.
tons of value today.
It's like we can rock talk for a little bit. What's up, guys?
Yeah,
How you been?
I can bullshit. Dude, I almost got ejected out of kickball last night.
dude.
How did
Talk
that
to us.
happen?
All right, so it's wet. Field's wet. I don't have cleats for some reason. I
Okay.
forgot them. And I'm on first. It's a very close game. We're playing against a team that I fucking hate. I've hated them every season I've played.
Okay.
And I'm on first. Big Dick Dodge hits just a boomer to left field, and I'm just going home. I don't even know where it goes. I just know I'm going home. And so I fucking rip second, round third, slip.
I'm sorry. Hold on. What did you call yourself?
Dodge is the guy that was hitting.
Oh,
I was just
okay.
on first.
Oh, I thought you hit it. I was like, what is your kickball
He's got, a,
nickname?
he's got a
Sick.
nickname that we don't know about.
No, yeah. I would tell you guys.
Okay, yeah,
Don't
yeah.
worry about it.
Okay.
So I'm round fucking first, round second. Well, I was starting on first. Round third, slip my ass off. Like almost, I think I might have rolled over. I slipped so hard, you know? And then I get up and I just keep hauling ass to home because, like, you got it. I was pot committed at this point. And I'm running home and there's this girl is just squatting on home plate, right? So I'm thinking either I wouldn't slide because I know this guy is about to throw the ball at me and I'm just going to slide around her. It's going to be sick. But I'm like, I'm going to wreck this girl if I do. So I kind of like slow up and then just like kind of tippy photo on it. Meanwhile, he throws it and I swear I touch, he hits me. I touch, he hits me.
Pegs are in?
Yeah, pegs are in, pegs are out. That's like a common out in kickball for some
Okay, I was just making sure.
good point.
Sure.
And so I tap, he hits me like a second later. The ref calls me out. And dude, I like end up, somehow I like get up and I'm like, and the ref and he looks at me and he goes, out. And I just go, sir! Like, I freak out. I throw my hat, I spit on the ground.
You spit on the ground. Did you kick dirt on him?
I was livid, dude. And I was just like, she was fucking blocking the base and I was safe. I know I was safe. I felt it. And everyone, my team gets riled up, dude. Like, I'm a manager and they're like, he was safe. And dude, it was like intense. And I'm looking at this guy, like spit's coming out of my mouth, like landing on his
his face.
Maybe, I don't know if he was that close, honestly, but it felt like he was, you know when your blood's boiling, it feels like he's closer than he actually
You could have
is.
clobbered this guy.
Yeah. But God, my blood was boiling. I haven't felt like that kind of rage in a long time for some reason. And I was just like, as I was yelling, I was like out of body. I was like, how is this guy not like ejected yet? And he didn't. And he just moved on.
And you just kept playing.
And we really got into that ref. We ended up losing by 1 run. So that was the
game
difference.
tire.
I would have been pissed.
God, I was pissed. I was so mad, dude. But like even Lena was mad because he wouldn't acknowledge her as the captain. Some misogynistic. He was like, he looked at her and he's like, all right, captain's got to do rock, paper, scissors. And she goes, oh, you're looking at her. And I was like, fuck yeah, babe. Like he just refused to think she was the captain because she's a girl. I don't know, it was bullshit. But
Weird vibes over at kickball.
and the game ended. Everyone just had like a bad taste in their mouth, you know?
Did you shake hands with the other team?
We did. And it wasn't really the other team's fault. It was more just that stupid ref.
Dude, that gives me the same energy as the scene in The Other Guys when Mark Wahlberg, like Will Ferrell's wife comes in, and Mark Wahlberg's like, "Who is that?" He's like, "That's my wife." Like a whore in the kitchen. He's like, "No, seriously, who is that?"
He's like,
"I'm
no,
the captain of the kickball team, bitch."
Yeah, dude, that movie's so fucking funny.
Yeah. You guys are both, I admire it because you guys do a lot of extracurricular sports outside of this. I need to get into
trying to
sports.
do more.
I just want to keep staying athletic.
I'm really
Yeah.
trying to do flag football coming up because I was playing. God, I love playing football catch more than anything. I think in the whole wide world. So I'm trying to find a league. That'd be fun, like some 5-on-5, like some real shit. You know, just dudes.
Yeah.
cleats and shit, like football cleats. That's what I'm looking
No
for.
tackle though?
Send
Turf.
some checks.
Just flag. I mean,
you can send some checks
You can
in
send
flag
some,
football.
a block, some
Yeah.
picks.
You
Yeah.
can send a little block in flag football.
So if you guys are looking for that, I'm trying to find a league.
It's a 7-time champ intramural. Who's
flag-
counting?
Flag football? Oh, dude, you want to join my team?
I could be down to be the
Hell yeah.
running back of this team.
I just catch long passes, so we need a quarterback. That's the thing.
We could get
if we
one.
found like
Oh,
an ex
QB1?
all-American quarterback, dude,
Like
like
an
just
old
like
what?
washed up.
Old college player.
That's like 80 or like
Yeah,
an old
yeah,
guy
yeah.
that can just fucking
Yeah.
Peyton Manning just sit in the pocket.
Just get some, like, Brett Favre.
I'm gonna be a father though tomorrow, so I don't know how the whole.
Yeah, Braden's having a kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Braden's baby's expected. It's a big news, actually.
Yeah, it's been insane around here.
Do you know if it's a girl or a boy?
It's a girl. Yeah,
Really?
and if it's not, I'm just gonna throw it out. So it doesn't.
Right, well,
it doesn't.
wow.
Do you know like a hair color yet?
Yeah, blonde.
Oh wow,
blue eyes.
So they got the technology they have nowadays. It's just
crazy.
insane.
Are you working on the nursery in your room? Or?
Yeah. It's in a cage.
Good
wow.
parenting.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays,
This
you know.
this animal has 4 legs.
Oh.
Yep, and it's
One of
gonna.
those
Is it
weird-
okay?
One of those
Yeah.
mutated babies.
Yeah, it's gonna be super cute. We're really excited to welcome home It's gonna be named Baby Goose.
Baby Goose?
Goose.
Baby Goose
So
is
silly little
really
goose,
cute.
you
Yeah,
know?
that's adorable. I like
Thanks.
that a lot,
Yep,
actually.
thanks. So tomorrow, what?
Braden literally wanted to name it Rock.
I wanted to name it Rock
That's a great
so
idea.
bad.
That's a great
But
idea.
she wouldn't go for the Rock thing.
My brother, we had a dog for 2 weeks.
Tell me that would have been hilarious if it was Rock.
It'd be great. Oh, little Rock.
Pod
what
guys
up?
would have loved it.
Furry
dude.
little Rock.
Yeah, exactly.
You can still call him or her Rock, though.
I think I'd call it Rock.
Yeah,
right?
she wouldn't. She just didn't. We had a dog, and my oldest brother called him Dude his whole life.
What if every time she was gone, I just kept drilling Rock into its mind, and then it would just respond to Rock? She's like,
You
"Why?"
like feed it. It'd be like Goose, and it comes. You know, give it food, and then be like Rock, and it comes, and you just feed the shit out of it. That's a great idea, dude.
She
That's
would kill
funny.
me. She would kill me. But we're welcoming home a little baby tomorrow. Maybe next pod episode she can get a cameo.
Yeah,
Baby
yeah.
Goose can get a cameo.
Oh man, that's gonna
Be
be so
cute.
cute.
Yeah, it'd be adorable.
It's gonna pee everywhere.
Nope, I got it in a little pen.
Oh, nice.
So it's gonna stay in the pen
it'll just
until we
pee in
potty
there.
train it. No, I'm taking it up every 2 hours that first night.
Yeah, you gotta.
That's what I'm gonna do. We're
Yeah.
switching off. It's like it's gonna be the whole thing.
Yeah, my brother had to do that.
Really?
And you're just gonna go right down there, right?
Yeah, they're
Just
just
in
gonna
grass?
literally sprint down. I'm gonna sprint right
Yeah.
downstairs, and we're just gonna run out, let it out in the grass, run back upstairs.
Yeah.
4 in the morning. It's gonna be super fun.
You get a workout in.
I'm gonna let you know, like, love dogs, man.
He's not gonna help.
You need to keep it on this side
Yeah,
of the
that's what I
apartment.
thought.
If I find shit or piss in my room,
I'm gonna set
I'm gonna
that
be a
dog
little
in his
pissed.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm setting it in the room for sure.
Coast is like on a loud luxury trip or whatever. And you just
Just let it
throw a
in the
little
room for
rock
like
in
a
there.
week.
Yeah. Rocks just dropping little rocks everywhere.
Okay, we got to get into
Yeah,
these
let's
client red flags and how to handle them because it's something that you're going to go through in your creative journey, whether you're a designer, photographer, video, whatever. You're going to deal with some shitty people.
And not even for work sometimes
Yeah.
too. Maybe you just come across a fucking asshole every now and then. But
Yeah.
like we're talking about clients.
Yeah, client work.
Yeah, not
Client
like
work.
karate. We're not gonna teach you to karate like beat
No.
some asshole up.
No,
It's-
yeah. We're going to teach you how to deal with these, maybe some objections that you get, maybe some talk when you're on these calls, how to kind of work around them. So, number one, our first client red flag. We don't have a big budget, but we need a fast turnaround. It's a great thing to hear.
You gotta have one or the other.
Yeah.
If I had $1 for every time I heard that, there'd be more money for this budget for this fucking client. You know? Because
It's insane. I mean, it's like that's the biggest one. It's like you hear that and they say that early too. Like, look, okay, like we don't have a big budget, but we do need it pretty quick. And it's like, okay, either you're gonna pay me to rush it, right?
Yeah.
And you're gonna pay me more because
A
I'm
rush
rushing.
fee. A rush
Or
fee.
I've had this before where this client that I really liked working with, they were just like, we don't have that much money, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. Just give me like 3 weeks to do it then. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, okay, so then I don't really care. It's like, I'm like in between meetings. I'll just like, bloop, bloop, you know?
also, hey, it's not my fault that you don't have that much time.
not your
You
fault.
knew you needed this video or project, whatever it may
Yeah.
be.
Think ahead.
Give yourself
Mismanagement.
ample amount of time.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the biggest red flag, dude.
And I think, yeah, you got to tell them right off the bat. You got to say, hey, for this amount of money, this is how long it can take. But if you want to make it happen in a week or like in 48 hours, we can do that. It's just going to cost twice as much.
Right. Rush fee.
Because then I'm going to have to put, and you explain to them, I'm going to have to put off all my other stuff from the other clients we're working with. It's not fair to them because we're going to rush this, which is fine. We have the resources to do it, but you got to pay this little rush fee. And then be like, we can't do it. But like, then I'm not the person for you.
Or the quality is just not going to be up to my normal standard.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is also a bummer. Yeah. No one wants to have to do that.
Yeah, and I think that you don't want to put your name on. Your name is the most important thing you have as a creative, and really any field of work that you do, your reputation is the one thing that no one like. You don't want to damage your reputation.
Don't want to fuck that up.
You also need to explain. Oftentimes, these clients that are reaching out to you often don't understand how much time goes into creating certain work.
Totally.
And they think that you can just snap your finger or press an edit button and it'll happen like that.
Which could be on the way, dude. Premiere's AI tools are insane. Just saying.
Should we be scared?
Like that remix thing? Love it.
Yeah, the remix tool is fire. I showed Braden, he's like, what is that? And I got to, let me step into my office.
Every song all of a sudden is the perfect length all the time. It's so crazy.
Chase, give me number 2.
All right, the second client red flag you should look out for is, I just need you to also do this one little thing when it's the shoot day. So like for an example, asking you to take photos when you're only hired to do video. It's so annoying. You're like, okay, I have this plan. I have this equipment. This is what I'm going to do. And they're like, can you just snap some photos of this moment? Or like, can you design this quick little mock-up for us? And it's like, whoa, dude, you hired me to do video. And then when they think they're just sliding it in on the day, it's hard for you to have a conversation with them. Like, look, this is how this costs. Like if they brought that up in pre-production, you're like, you want photos? That's cool. I'll either bring a photo camera and charge you more for it, or have a photographer friend come.
Yes, exactly.
Also, as someone who does both photo video, just because you're capable of doing both doesn't mean you should, because I find that it's really hard to switch back and forth between the two. And oftentimes the final product suffers if you're trying to do both photo video, because you're like, I got to get this moment both in photo video, but maybe I switch the lens, I got to grab my other body, whatever it may be. It's really stressful.
Yeah, I think if there's any change in the scope of the work, which if, those that don't know, scope of work is just everything that you're going to do for them. All the deliverables, when you're going to show up, all that stuff, when, all the revisions, it's all under this umbrella of the scope. So if they change the scope and say, hey, we want to add photos, say, absolutely, we can add photo. It's just going to cost a little bit more money, so that when you guys get the estimate and you see it, you're gonna be like, what's this? Like, I don't want any surprises, so I'm just telling you now that it's going to cost a little bit more, because now we're hiring a photographer, they're bringing their camera, whole 9 yards. So yes, same with design. Or I've heard the one where after the shoot, they're like, can we just get this one little piece of motion graphics? Motion graphics isn't video, completely separate thing. So you got to really let them know, hey, no, that's not under the scope. I'd be happy though to help you with it, and we can totally find someone to get you this little product.
Exactly. And even if you can do it, that can be you. Yeah. And you say, I hired a motion graphics person. It's you. You can do both. That's cool. Or you just tell them ahead of time. Maybe they're hiring you. This guy's great. He can do video, and he can do motion graphics, and he can do photography. But you just need to be getting compensated for all of that, and know that up front, not just sliding it in on the shoot day or whatever.
You're also allowed to politely decline. If you're hired for video and they're asking you to do photos as well, you can be like, you know what? That wasn't what we originally agreed upon. I'm just going to do video for this shoot. And if they're pushy about it, that's an even more red flag to be we also need you to do photos. Well, we didn't discuss that previously. Right. So
just more money.
The third red flag is the client who wants free work or a discount. Common things that lead you to understand that they want free work or a discount are, it will be great exposure for you.
Puke.
This will be great for your portfolio. We want to do this organically. We can find someone cheaper, but we love your work. Can you give us a discount?
The little flattery angle.
Yeah. Or we don't have a budget yet, but we want you to be part of our vision or mission. Now you got to understand that free work should only happen, or a discount should only happen when you're the one to approach the client.
Yeah, I love that. It's I really, really want to work with you so fucking bad. And you tell them let me work with you. They're okay, how about you just try this out for free? Then it's cool, because you're the one that really wants to, But if they're we want to work with you, but it's not really any money, it's well, that's not okay, dude. That's just
I don't think they should be reaching. I've got that a lot of branded partnerships that reach out to me for TikTok stuff. They're we'd love to send you this thing. I'm why would I post about this thing?
Yeah.
I don't what, are you serious? Come on, you gotta throw a little bread this way,
or free monster.
Also, if it actually is work that you know you're going to be able to leverage down the road, they're not going to need to explain that to you. You're going to know if the opportunity is like a great stepping stone or something that you can leverage in the future.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so true. Because you'd be like, oh, that would look fucking sick. Like, I just need to have that. And you're right. They shouldn't have to tell you that because you'll know. Yeah, that's so true.
But 99% of the time, you don't even have to do that. You could just, if you want to work for, say, a beverage company, you could go buy the drink, make the thing, make 5 of the things, and then you have 5 videos to send to a beverage company in said niche. You don't really, you know what I mean? I feel like people don't need to go out and like ask for work. They could just go make it themselves. Go pay your model buddy 25, 50, $100, whatever it costs. Like go shoot for you for 2 to 4 hours, an hour, whatever, and then make said thing and ask your creative friends to help you out with that stuff.
I would say the time when free work comes into play is really, it comes down to access. For example, like let's say I needed a second shooter for a Loud Luxury show or whatever, and I wanted to hire someone or bring someone on, and maybe Loud Luxury didn't want to pay, so I couldn't maybe hire someone who's like already established, but I can bring someone else on who's like hungry and like good. And so then that gives them access to shoot a show of like an established artist that they wouldn't originally have in the first place.
And then again, use that to like leverage more work that they do get paid for.
Yes.
Or I can think of another thing I saw. This is a minute ago. I saw Rory Kramer post this. He was talking about, he had like a meeting with Kanye and they were like, oh, what's this going to cost? And he's like, don't even worry about it, because he just wanted to establish like a relationship with Kanye West.
Smart.
Which, made sense. And then
At the time.
Yeah, at the time, at the time, but and I think that like you could take that and run with it all the way down the line.
Give us number 4, Braden.
Number 4, we are not totally sure how we want it to be in the end. We don't have a clear vision. That one's brutal.
Hate that.
You got to spot that one in those first initial calls though, because it's kind of your job to guide them on a path of, hey, okay, you don't know really what you want, but let's try and talk through this end product, because we can't just start, you can't just give me said amount of money and I just kind of pull something out of my ass and you're not happy with it. You're going to end up going back and forth. And I remember when I was starting out, I would take on some projects. I was like, oh, I need this money. I need the 500 or I need $1,000. And we do it and then say they weren't happy with it. And I'm like, well, you guys didn't even know what you wanted. And I just took it because I needed the money, not because there was like a clear vision there. And I was like, yeah, I could you want photos, videos, design, we'll figure all this out, and it just ended up not turning out well for either of us. And it was just a huge headache. So really try to flesh out all of your ideas and say, hey, what do you guys want? What's the clear end goal here? And I think you'll be able to make a better product.
And when they don't know what they want right off the back, once you get into the edit or making adjustments, whatever it may be, like you get obscure feedback because they don't really know what it is they want in the first place.
So they're just like, can we make it feel different? And it's like, what, dude? It's also like, I hate that.
Hey, change it?
Yeah.
Like, okay, to what?
Right. And it's also like, even into the specifically, even like if they're like, oh, you pick a song, you like make the first cut to like a chill song, right? Because you don't know what they want and they never told you what they wanted. And now they're like, oh, can we use like dubstep instead? And it's like, well, that's completely different edit. Yeah. And like, I didn't know you were looking for that kind of vibe, or else I would have shot it even differently, let alone edit it differently.
And something that we started doing was just sending the people the songs in advance. And it's changed so much of the post workflow, because you send them your 3 songs or maybe 5 if you're feeling frisky, you want to send them a couple more, and then always say, hey, we like number 3 and 4. So then they have more of an idea of kind of the vibe that you're going for. And that way, in the contract, you could put a song change fee, because everybody knows the biggest pain in the ass of making a video is when they change a song after it's already cut to said song and your vision's already on said song. So having a change song fee in there that's like obscurely high, and will probably deter people from wanting to change the song. And you're sending them in advance, so they're saying, this is the one for sure.
Yeah. I would honestly slip into this, just sending not as much where it's like too much, but like as much shit you can in advance. Like I've been sending, like if it's an interview, I'll like make a transcript in Premiere, send that to them, and then they can just like look through the whole thing and know exactly what they want you to say, and then come back to you and say, make it say this, because it sucks, like especially cutting an interview. Yeah. And they're like, oh, can we have them say this, 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 and this? It's like, you knew that when you were there, so why don't you tell me that, dude? So you just send them a transcript, or you can send like a string out of literally all the footage, and they can look through it, and then they know what they can want, and that way you don't have to guess and make rounds for no reason.
Exactly. Getting feedback that just says, we don't like this, very unhelpful to everybody involved.
Very unhelpful. All right, number 5, the no boundaries client. This is the client that just gives you send it up and they just give you feedback instantly, and then you're like, do I have to do that right now? Or like it's Saturday and they're like, hey, like And it's like, dude, it's advertising. Like, you don't have to post it Saturday night. Why do you want this change right now? Like, just arbitrary, no boundary feedback is so frustrating. Calling you whenever.
Especially when you're not on a deadline. Kosis and I were talking about this before,
Right.
like hypothetical, Super Bowl Sunday. You might be working at 10 p.m. at night if you're at an ad agency, and then this is the biggest campaign you do this year.
It has to be
has
done.
to be done or like done to a certain time to send a broadcast so they can get it cooked up for the Super Bowl, whatever. But like, yeah, if it's just a regular client, a retainer client,
Lily's 5th birthday
Yeah.
party.
yeah, if it's Lily's 5th birthday party, you shouldn't have to be getting a text on Saturday saying, "Where is Lily's video?" I'm
Right.
like, "Hey, I'm out right now.
Right. And
Stop hitting me
That
up."
can be done anytime. The next
Anytime,
month, dude.
exactly.
You also don't need to explain like what it is you're out doing or
not
like
at
why
all.
you can't
Shouldn't
work on
have
it.
to.
Yeah, exactly. You say-
Also, like
yeah.
in the I guess in the same notion of this, sometimes they can get personal with you, and it's like that's not chill. If they
No.
start like attacking you, like, oh, you're being lazy or whatever it may be, like then that's fucked up.
Yeah, and I think a very respectful way, if you start getting a client like hammering at you and being an asshole, you can say, "Hey, this is out of this scope has changed.
Right.
I didn't really like you're terrible to work with." You can say that in a nicer way, but this isn't exactly what we didn't sign up for this, so I'm going to pass the project back off to you, and you can go find someone else to work on this project with you.
Right.
I've had that happen where I've gotten secondary or third projects from people that wasn't meant for me. So like another person shot it, they worked with an editor, they couldn't figure it out, they hit me up to do this. I'm like the second guy they're coming to, and I figured this out in the call. I'm like, "Okay, so what happened the first time?" And they're like, "Yeah, they just couldn't do it." I'm like, "But why? There's a reason there. Why did they not want to do it?" Because we're all creative people. Like I think I would figure out a way to do it. So I'm like, this person must have sucked. What was the problem? So you have to ask these questions and really dive deep into like, why are you giving me this video, and what's wrong with the first one? Like, show me what they're like. "Oh, this is the cut." I'm like, well, "What was wrong with this cut? What do you guys hate about it?" And I think you'll save yourself so much time because you can say no before getting into some shit show, signing a contract, getting money, and then having to maybe give money back. Like that's the worst thing ever when you get a check or something and it doesn't work out for some reason. They suck and they're like, "We'd like a refund." I'm like, "Oh, you want a refund?" Like,
My company's based in Dubai. Good luck.
yeah. So I mean, there's just a lot of situations where you don't want to end up in. So
Those questions on the call just help you vet that kind of situation. Like, is the reason why you're sending me this client because it didn't work with the other person the other person's fault, or is it your fault?
Yeah.
Was it because they were taking 3 to 4 weeks to turn something around?
Yes.
Or was it because you were giving them shitty feedback and like don't really know what the fuck you want to do?
Long,
exactly.
All right, number 6. The 6th red flag is rates versus value. When the client tries to pin you to an amount of time or a rate, an hourly rate, and an hourly rate diminishes the value of what you provide.
And I think you got to think about this, right? So
It's really
Yeah.
I'm gonna kiss this fucking mic. You got to think about this, okay? If I'm really good at making videos, okay?
Word.
I could go get a person who's never made one video before. He's made one video, okay? Me and this guy, me and Jimmy, okay? There's me and Jimmy. I've done this for 10 years. Jimmy hasn't done it for a year.
Right.
We get the same video. I make the video in 15 minutes.
Right.
Jimmy makes it in 5 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone remembers their first video editing.
Yeah, it took forever. It took like 9 years. So Jimmy takes 5 days. I take 15 minutes. I shouldn't be paid less money because it took me less time. If anything, I should be paid way more money.
Right.
For sure, because
You're welcome.
you're getting it way faster. You're getting said product faster, and you shouldn't be tied to your hourly rate. That's why you want a value price or price per project that you're getting on, whatever you're comfortable doing in this moment in time. But that's gonna make you a lot more money, make you think more as a business rather than just a starving artist that's working for $15 an hour, $20, $50 an hour, or whatever.
The only counterpart to that is if they won't, like, if you foresee there being changes down the line, then it's nice to be at least on like a day rate. I would never do hour, but like a day rate, just because there's like, oh, can you actually like do this change? It's like, fuck yeah, I can do that change, dude. It's gonna take me an hour, and I'm gonna pay my day rate.
Yeah.
And then because like sometimes you'd be like, oh, I'll do that project for $500, and then it ends up taking a month, and you're like, I got paid $10 a day for that.
Oh yeah, I've done that for about a quarter an hour. It was awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to, like you said, like it's the value providing though needs to be established. And it could go either way.
You need to think about too, right? Before the project even starts, you have to factor into the price all the revisions that you're going to do, the equipment that you're going to cost. That really nice M2 laptop that you just bought that was $5,000. Look up what that costs per day, and put that into the cost, okay? And then other things I can think of that might come out of the blue is like they hit you up, like Chase said again, for hey, we need you to edit this one more thing. Like absolutely, but this is what you got to have that in the contract, so you're not going back and saying, oh hey Mike, that's $400 actually because that's the day rate and it's half the day rate, and they're like, we didn't know that was a thing, and then they're pissed off. So you can just explain off the bat, hey, after the 4, 5, 3 whatever revisions, if you have any more, I'm happy to do them, but this is how much they cost.
That's smart. That's how you should do it.
And you need that in writing.
Yeah, it in writing. It's got to be in writing. So then there's no like, because then you don't want to get into a back and forth argument of, you didn't do this right. And it's like, oh, we had a great thing going. And why did we mess this up? Like, where did it go south? And it's usually because you just didn't do a good enough job in your process in the beginning.
Absolutely. Number 7 of client red flags is we usually don't do 50% deposits up front, or don't pay you anything until the end, or don't pay you on time at fucking all. Dude, I used to work with this company that's based in India, and no shame on that, but it's just scary because it's so far, right? And once I didn't sign a contract, and because I was young and I was dumb, but I like really needed the bread that they were going to pay me for all this work I did on this video. And, I finish it, send it in. Here's my invoice right as I send them the final deliverables, which I should have, in hindsight, if I had known better, said, hey, when I start this project, you're going to give me half of it. And then you're going to give me all of it when I turn it in. Didn't do that. Again, was starting out. So then I send the invoice and they're like, okay, great. Our company's policy is net 60. And I'm like, that's really far.
What does net 60 mean?
It means they will pay you in 60 days and then after that, you start getting incrementally more money, basically.
Which is great. They also have this thing in the agency world, net 30, which you got to wait 30 days. It really sucks. It really hurts.
30 days, 60 days. 60 days was so long. And here's the thing. 60 days is
forever.
But like, I didn't have a contract with them. So like, day 60 comes and I still don't see any fucking money. And I'm like, oh, I got boned. Because I don't have a thing. They're based in India. I don't know how to sue them or anything like that. Finally, I think like another month maybe I see the money. I'm like, well, great, now I can eat again in college. But like, you gotta get when you're gonna get paid up front and make it earlier than later, dude. And talk to them, say like, hey, let's give it, especially if you have a big budget for a production. You gotta buy hotel rooms and shit. You need at least 30% up front so you can cover your costs, and then you get paid on the back end.
That's another thing. Is like, it doesn't always necessarily need to be 50% up front, but you need some sort of money up front before you start.
A lot of companies do thirds. Some people do 50. So or 25%, whatever.
Here at 505 Media, we do 100% up front.
Will you pay us, and then we think about starting to work.
We'll get to it.
Dude, I did a video one time, and these people were like, I hit them up. I go, hey, it was for an agency. They're like, yeah, this client always pays. And I go, what does that mean? what does that mean? They're like, I was like hitting them with an invoice. It's been like 3 weeks. I'm like, well, when though? When is the question? They're like, they always do pay. I'm like, can you bug them? They're like, yeah, we've already hit them a couple times. I'm like, so when though? They're like, but they always do. I'm like, always. That is a horrible
that's
thing.
That's like saying, yeah, this boat always floats.
Sometimes
it's fucking better.
Yeah, seriously.
That's brutal.
Insanity. Okay, number 8. Can you just send us the raw files? Now, this is really interesting because Kostas is going to have a different opinion than me and Chase probably, but I don't love sending the raw files. But in agency world, it's common for them to ask for, hey, could we see the raw project file, or could we see the raw video files? Because they might go send this footage over to their in-house editor, and they cook up social spots in the next year. So in the beginning of this, you got to know this. I'll tell you guys a really funny story. I was telling Kostas this earlier. We did a project like 5 or 6 years ago for this company, and the product was shit. Okay. So we didn't realize it till we got there. None of the products were working in this place that we were shooting.
Oh, no.
Okay. None of the products were working. They were supposed to all talk to each other and stuff, and none of them were talking.
Oh, no.
None of them were talking to each other. So then Kyle, have our good friend Kyle at the shoot, and Kyle goes, these things are a absolute piece of shit. These projects suck. Like, he's going off, and I'm like really into it. We get back home, and I'm looking through the footage, and I'm dying laughing, like giggling at the footage. I'm like, oh, Kyle said these things suck. Like a few months later, like, can we get those raw files? I'm like, oh yeah, like about those raw files. Right. So we had to Google this weird way to go onto your laptop and change off like all the audio, so it just was silent on all the clips, but Anyways, in the beginning,
It's just like beautiful B-roll. And
yeah,
then
and the
there's
crowd's like,
"Yo,
this product,
fuck this product.
This product sucks. I'm like, oh my, he's like, they don't ever connect. He's like, that's what their job is. I'm like, well, fair enough, but we got to take out that audio. So, anyways, in the beginning of your project, make sure that it's handled. Hey, if we're gonna give you the raw files, that's absolutely fine, and that's a standard. But this is gonna cost this much because it's a big pain in the ass. You got to go buy a hard drive.
Right.
You got to ship it to them.
Right.
Like time is money. All that stuff.
Or
you
if
know?
they want you to upload it, I would rather just buy a hard drive and shit. The
I would
uploading
too.
thing, it's like, okay, I'm gonna try it overnight
for 14
And
days.
you wake up the next day and it's like, didn't get there, or like it can't closed
Canceled,
or
yeah,
canceled,
closed, whatever.
Fuck that.
Yeah, you're like, let me just upload 125 gigabytes worth of footage.
Right.
I'm gonna just check my Dropbox or my Google Drive.
Right.
It says you'll get it in 24 days. Is that still cool? Do you still want it?
And
Yeah.
you need Dropbox Premium. Like, there's
Dude,
more costs
Google
allowed
Drive
to that.
sucks.
Yeah, it does
Oh
suck.
my
Not a
God.
fan.
But anyways, tell me about photos. What do you think about photos?
The reason I have a problem with sending raw photos is because of the editing. I feel like editing photos is, it's not everything, but as a photographer, I have such a specific style of how I like my work edited. And if I saw a shitty edit on a photo that I took, I'm like, that doesn't represent me.
Yeah, that sucks.
And you make me look worse.
right.
Like, I want to take the photo and I want to edit it because the whole process of like how I'm going to crop it or how I'm going to make it look with how much clarity or contrast, whatever it may be, black and white, color, like all those things come into play. And I feel like editing and my style of editing is just as much a part of me as a photographer as the photos that I actually take.
Totally. And because it's such a bigger part of photography. Like with video, it's like, you get what you're going for. It's like, I must have been just like a shit colorist or whatever. But yeah, editing with photo is like so much of it. I feel like that makes a lot of sense.
Sometimes you see kids' photos and I'm like, did you put the saturation at 150
Right.
and just boost the clarity up all the way? Because this looks like trash.
I hate
or like
that.
the white balance is all off. Like, yeah, certain things. So that's kind of why I have a problem with sending the raws. But like, it honestly, it also depends on the client.
Yeah.
Number 9, wanting to replicate a video that costs way more than their budget to make. I've had this happen many times where they send you an example and they're like, we have $1,000. I'm like, that's a $15,000 video. There's like 8 people that worked on this
My
thing.
favorite story, I know we've told this before, is that Braden and I made this video once, and we had like a sizable budget, and it turned out well, and we put like a lot of effort into it, and because we were paid accordingly for our time and the equipment and everything. And then didn't you get hit up by someone that like wanted to reference it?
Oh, yes. Someone hit me up to do something at Coachella for this event. And they're like, hey, this is the inspo for this budget. We have $4,000. I go, that video that you just sent me was like 8 times what you just said number wise.
And I know.
Because we made the video. And he goes, I'm so sorry for like disrespecting you guys. Like I had no idea. And I go, no, it's fine. But like, that's definitely not going to work. You got to find somebody else. He goes, okay. Like I didn't know that. Like,
Dude, that's so funny.
Yeah. And I think that happens a lot more than you think, where people come to you with, this inspiration vision board. And you're like, dude, there's like 12 people making this thing. It's just me and like one other person.
Right.
You got to really manage expectations early on, because you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
And you also don't want to send them something and then be unhappy. Like I feel like so much in the creative space could be done in the first 1 or 2 calls that'll save your ass and save you so much pain and agony, and just save your reputation to the other person, because you don't want them to go talk shit about you to another business owner and you're trying to work with them down the line. Like, oh, I remember, like, we're not going to work with this person out because Blake said they didn't turn it on time. But like, dude, Blake was bad with feedback. Like I couldn't get it to Blake on time.
Right.
So you just never know.
I also think as you continue on your career, you start to understand and learn how much certain things do cost. So then when you start talking to clients about how much certain projects will cost, if like they say, hey, I want this kind of video or this kind of photo shoot, you then understand how much that said shoot is actually going to cost. Because when you're first starting out, you're like, I don't know how much it fucking costs to rent a space or to hire models or whatever it may be.
Right. You want to say something right away too, even if they're on the call or like in like a little Zoom meeting and they're like, oh, we want to reference this. And they show you like some crazy
Spielberg's
shit.
edit.
Yeah, literally. Like, that costs, and you got to start breaking it down literally real time. Like, okay, so like if we want to do that, we need a crane and we need like this. We probably need a VFX house to do. So like you just break it down so they kind of understand like how much went into that fucking video and how much money. And you're like, we could do that if you give me a month and $1 million. But if for like the $3,000 you're paying me, it's just going to look a little different. And that's important to tell them.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I think like going back to what you were saying about like the bigger sets and knowing how much they cost, I think one of the most important things you could do right now, if you're like, I get hit up all the time, I'm trying to make more money doing this, I want to do bigger and bigger budgets. I'm like, do you know what you should do? You should hit up someone that's already doing the bigger budgets, and you should say, hey, I will do whatever bitch work you need me to do. I will carry C-stands, I will like help light stuff, carry stuff, I will serve the crafty, whatever it's going to be, just so you can be on a set and see how it is that it operates, because then you'll get an idea. You'll meet the lighting person and say, hey, like at lunch, what does this entail? Like, what does your job do? And you'll start to pick up so much more being on a set with professionals than you will just sitting at home wishing that you were getting hit up by professionals to work.
Absolutely.
The 10th and final red flag that we have for you is when a client does not agree to the set amount of revisions. Ain't that a bitch?
Oh, that's the truth. Let me tell you.
And again, it's like upfront. Like,
yes,
let's get to 3 upfront and just know that that's what it is.
One time, one of my first projects that I think was like right below $10,000, and I thought I was a millionaire. When they said 10 grand, I go, this is it. I go, I'm never gonna make more money than this. This is the can of, this is like
Mom,
Chipotle for life.
Yeah, I was like, yo, get me, I'll go double steak today.
Right.
At
And
Chipotle
guac,
and
dude.
guac.
Mom,
And
you can quit your job. I got us.
I remember after I sent them the contract, it's signed, sealed, locked, delivered. I look at it and I go, oh shit, there's no revisions in this contract. And we got to version 36, and I had to call them, and I said, this is before, I think maybe we were at 25. I go, listen, this is not what I signed up for. This is like, I've never done this many revisions. Like what you guys want is nothing like what we're creating.
Right.
And every time it was literally a novel of feedback. And so we had to get on. I said, listen, these are our 2 options. I go, we're done editing on this. This is how much it's going to cost and this is after we had done it forever. And I'm asking all these people trying to get help. I'm like,
Right.
what do you do? Like how
Right.
I messed up. Like I didn't put the revisions in the thing. So I'm going to make it right. But I got to explain to them like this mistake. And so I think we ended up getting to like version 36 or something, and then they were like, we'll just take all the footage and the raw files. This was the client that we changed the audio on to.
Funny,
it was
dude.
insane. Like it was just a shit show. It was
But
brutal.
because you just got to have that in there, because like you said, they can just keep going, and they can like, oh, you like think you had it all done with this one guy you're working with, and then he sends it to his boss and she's like, nah man, like let's change this. You're like, I already had that in round 12, but now I got it. You know what I mean?
That's why it's so important to get on a call. This is the thing. When you send off stuff to say agencies or different clientele, say you're working with like say you're working with just a creative on the brand side, right? You need to ask them, hey, who else has to see this video? Like who we working with? Because a lot of the times I remember like I've done 3 rounds with some brand person on the other side. And they're like, cool, this is now getting sent to the creative director. I'm like, well, now we're doing 7 rounds.
Right.
So like, and I'm not getting paid anymore. I'm doing 3 times, like, you know, we're going to get to V9. I'm doing 3 times as many revisions that we said we're going to do. And you really need to figure that out and flesh all that out in that first call. Say, who needs to see this to approve it? Like, oh, it's just me. Oh, great. So just you and me, whatever.
And just always have shit in writing.
Yeah.
Like that's just the end of it. And also, if you do get sent a revision, freaking don't make the revisions on that same timeline.
Yeah.
Copy and paste your exact project onto another timeline, so you have V1, V2, V3, V4 all on separate timelines. So if you need to revert back to another timeline, you can.
You'd be surprised how many times you'll get it like version 10. They're like, we actually like V2. I'm like, that would have been great to know a month ago.
And a lot of the times it's really common just to be like, oh, we really liked how that section was in V2. And then you're like, have to recreate it. Instead, you can just take that little bit and throw it in there. It's like, oh, okay, cool, that works.
Definitely. Bonus round.
Oh,
come on.
I thought we only had 10.
Nope, 11.
10 and a bonus.
10 and a bonus. The bonus one is...
So we don't have 11?
Nope, just 10. 10 and a bonus. They only focus on what they don't like in the edit, but they do not tell you anything positive that they did. So for those of you that are maybe making videos or doing design, photos, whatever, if you know, before you send this project to the client, I think it's really important to get on a call and manage expectations for what it is that you guys did well, what it is that you might want to change.
Right.
So any call outs, and this doesn't have to be if you made a mistake, you don't have to call that out right off the bat. You can let them see it, and then if they call it a mistake, you can talk through said mistake. But what I would do, and I would say, hey, this is how we give good feedback.
Right.
So let's look at this video and say, hey, we really like this. We really like this. I don't like that. Doesn't help anybody. That just hurts my feelings.
Right.
So say, hey, I don't like this. Could we maybe change it to this? That's very helpful. And
specific.
Just it makes it so much more collaborative.
And it's not even about like being, we need our feelings or our ego boasted. It's like sometimes it's really helpful for you moving forward if they like, oh, we love how you did this section. Because then you can think, oh, I know what they want for that other stuff because they like that. And that feels like this and that feels different, but I can make that feel like this. Then it's good to know. Like, it's just good to know, oh, that's what's working for you.
Yeah.
My love language is words of affirmation. So
There you
I
go.
need you to tell me what I'm doing good.
There you
you know,
go.
don't just put me down. Bring me up.
Exactly.
Bring him up. He's going to do better work.
That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the 505 Podcast. Make sure to drop a comment, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys all next week. Peace.
Bye.